Hey gang, Ronin here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade, and welcome to the final episode of our revisitation of the original 1986 NES classic, The Legend of Zelda. By the time this episode is over, we will have scaled Death Mountain, we will have hopefully toppled Ganon and reclaimed the Triforce of Power, and most importantly, rescued Princess Zelda. So hopefully you've been enjoying the content on the channel so far. We had our Sports Saturday and Soccer Punch Sunday features this last weekend. For Sports Saturday, we played AFL Premiership 2005 for the PS2. That's Aussie Rules Football if you're unfamiliar with the nomenclature, and it was a lot of fun. And then yesterday for Soccer Punch Sunday, we played a game that answered the age-old question of what happens when a demigod is no longer a demigod by playing the Death and Return of Superman for the Super Nintendo / Genesis. It's not that it's a terrible game, it's not a great game, but it could have been so much better if they had made it a little bit more Superman than just a dude in a cape. So, but at this point, now all we've got to worry about is getting through the next about a half an hour or so, which is I'm figuring about as long as it will take to wrap this one up, and then it'll be a matter of figuring out what I want to play next. But I will tell you, this has been a lot of fun going back and revisiting this game. It's one that obviously has a whole lot of appeal for me, but my rationale for playing it was based on a singular thesis that this game really laid the groundwork for what became known as the open world genre, especially in terms of fantasy games, later on in the late 20th and early 21st century. My point being on that you can run a through line from this game all the way through to Skyrim and Dark Souls and, you know, all the big AAA titles that we know now 30 odd years later, or venturing now on almost 40. But they all had to get a general start somewhere. Ow. Ow. That hurt. And I believe that what Miyamoto created with this game back in 1986/87 when it came out in the United States was it provided future generations the template for being able to create open world titles that required a lot of player investment, for one, and also the ability to discover stuff in real time. You know, in this game, there was, and you have to remember, 40 years ago, we didn't have websites and game facts and things like that to be able to pull games, or pull how to beat games from. You know, this was all it was definitely pre-internet for one. We were 15 years away from really the internet becoming what everybody understood it was going to be. But as the Nintendo Entertainment System was becoming the cultural icon that it ultimately became, and that speaks in part to why it has had such longevity, even now that, you know, these games are, you know, decades upon decades old. Their influence cannot be, genuinely cannot be understated. And without them, the landscape of what video games would look like would be drastically different than what it is today. Come on, P-Hat, stop flying. I want to be able to get you so I hopefully get a heart here. Alright, I'm not going to worry about it. I need to get that one, though. And I needed that one. Okay, so now we are at The door of Death Mountain. We have everything we need. We have picked up now the raft, the book, the blue ring, the step ladder, the master key, the power bracelet. We have our boomerang. We have a full complement of 16 bombs. We have arrows, but we will need to get the silver arrows while we are in here. And we will need to get the red ring. And most importantly, we have a double dip of medicine that I have no doubt we're going to need in order to get through this. Now, there was, back in younger days, and in this one, this room, the reason why these fires are here is because if you did not have the full Triforce, which I do now, there would be an old man here telling you you cannot proceed unless you have the Triforce. Neither of those doors would open, but now they have. But there was a time when I knew every in and out of this game from memory. And in part, that was because, well, that didn't help me. My brother and my friends who were the first people I saw beat this game had charted out on graph paper the map to get through Death Mountain. And that piece of raggedy paper became so critical to my childhood that I, for the longest, I mean, I had to commit it to memory just so I could make sure I can get through the game. Oh, that was helpful. Okay. So those guys were what are called landmillas. They're basically giant centipedes. And the one thing that I need to stress to you in this final dungeon is you know you are going in the right direction when you encounter one specific enemy, and it is called a Patra. And a Patra is, it's a floating eyeball with little tiny wings on it, surrounded by even smaller floating eyeballs with tinier wings on it. If you run into them, then you know you're going the right way. If you don't, then you are getting yourself lost really quickly. That was something I remembered from way, way back in the day. And again, we are dealing with light legs, which means I need to be very careful. I do not want to lose my magic shield, which is where having the wand comes in handy. And having the magic key will help, because now this way we are not... Well, I would have liked to at least get a couple of hearts. Okay. Get out of the way of the whiz robes. Ow. Ow. Okay, we got money. Let's see. Okay, here we go this way. For the sake of efficiency, and because I don't need to be an idiot about it. Ooh, perfect. I am using a map to help guide my way through this. Okay, we picked up more bombs. And now we are going to run into, likely, or Wizrobes. And we have the compass. Okay, so we've got that. Now we have to go back up. Stupid bubbles. And now we go through the door on the right, and this will be our first encounter with a Patra. What you were trying to do, which is what I'm trying to avoid doing. Ow. Well, we got bombs, but we are already having to use our first medicine, which I am not looking forward to. And now we get these gels to take care of, which should be a pushover. And we get money. So now we have to put a bomb here. Heart back, but more importantly, we have the map, and that is Death Mountain in all its glory. And we've only scratched the surface of this dungeon, and we're 12 minutes in. We want to get rid of the like-likes first. Although if we get rid of the Wizrobes, that'd be nice too. And now we put one more bomb here. Oh, I would have loved to have gotten a watch. Oh boy. Fortunately, the bubbles can't kill us. But we need that ring, and we need it in a hurry. Okay, we now have the red ring, which is a big, big deal. So now, where the blue ring cost us a half a heart every 2 times we were hit, now we can lose a half a heart every 4 times we're hit. But the kicker is we now no longer have any medicine. So now we go back down this way. And we don't have to worry about the Patra coming back. We don't have to go this way. Go to the next room. And what he means by the next room is we have to go to the left. Put a bomb down. Oh, give me that. Thank you. And we take the stairs down. I mean, it is so easy to get lost in here. The fortunate thing is, if you know the right way to go, you get these little moments here, like with these Zolls, where you get a respite. And we go this way, and there should be just a whole bunch of bats in here. Now we go through the next room, and there will be a patch right here. And we need to get rid of this one to open up the staircase. Now this one is different in that its little ones will not span out and attack you. They'll do that rotational spin, which in a way makes them easier to target. Obviously, I don't need the key. Ooh, getting bombs will be helpful. Okay, now we come up here. Alright, I gotta get that heart, and I gotta get it quick. Bubbles I don't care about, because we gotta push this one aside. Open this corner up, and now here's the other critical thing we needed. We get the silver arrows. Like I said, you cannot beat this game without these items. If you do not have the silver arrows, you cannot beat Ganon. Because you need them when he is finally able to be defeated. You have to shoot him with a silver arrow. So now we have to go back down this way, through the tunnel. And now we head up a screen. And here we've got to be careful, because there are like-likes in here. This is where having the wand becomes your friend. Because again, you can keep them at distance. And while I would love for them to give me hearts, I absolutely do not want them to eat my magic shield. Now we come up here and there's even more of them. Do not get near me. I'll take the hit from the trap if it means I don't have these guys coming over and eating the shield. At this point, that shield is so critical. Okay, now we've got to go up and left, which means we've got to sprint through here. Okay. Now we gotta lure this trap over so we can come up this way. That one can't come get us. And we just gotta come around this corner. Oh, thank you. Can I get that heart really quick? No, I didn't. Shoot. Ah, I was hoping for that. Alright, now we just gotta take this last like out, or even better, if we can take this all out and get a heart. Of course we didn't. Okay, down the stairs we go. And this will be the last one we take. Come on, Tease. Ow. And there will be one more Patras sitting right here, and we've got to take it out to open the door. Okay. So now we're going to have to go in. We are not at full power, but we've got our silver arrows, we've got the Master Sword, we've got the red ring, and we have 80 silver arrows at our disposal. Time to go face Ganon, and we've got 5 minutes to do it. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is Ganon. But now he turns invisible. And we've got to be able to hit him. But we can't necessarily find him. There's one. If I remember right, we got to hit him 3 times. There's 2. Okay, one more. We're almost dead. Can we get him? Yes, we can! We shoot with the arrow and he's gone! We have successfully defeated Ganon and are left with as many hearts as we had when we started the game. We started with 3, we ended with 3, and we have now reclaimed the Triforce of Power to go along with the Triforce of Wisdom. That is not as easy as it looks, because those fireballs, your shield can't block them. So you're just really hoping that you can find where he's coming from. But that is Princess Zelda. And now we get the end screen. Thanks, Link. You're the hero of Hyrule. For now, this ends the story. So that, everybody, is the original Legend of Zelda from 1986. And, again, for a game I haven't played in 20 plus years, it is one that it is so fun to go back and replay it. But also, it helps verify the thesis that powered this playthrough, which is there is so much stuff in this game that because I was just looking to be able to get through it that I didn't go explore. And I can give you a couple of ideas of what we have now. And now that the game is over, now that my Link is holding that sword, if I hit start, now we enter the second version of the game where we have to start all over again. But this was one of the other big things about this, is that now everything is not where it was in the first playthrough. The second playthrough changes where most things are. Not everything, but most things. Like, the first couple of dungeons are still where they're supposed to be. But Death Mountain is in an entirely different place. The hidden stuff that I was able to find before, not all of it is in the same spot. The heart containers, a couple of them are in the same spot, but not all of them. So now you've got to know what is where and relearn how to find everything so you can finish the game. And that is something that was light years ahead of its time. Because nowadays, and the most obvious one I could think of is the Soulsborne games, where they up the difficulty from playthrough to playthrough, I understand. And some of it gets changed around, and some of it gets, shuffled around a bit to make the game fresh and make it interesting. Miyamoto and Sakawa did this 35 years earlier with this game. And then what they did afterwards in making Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, is so much different than this original game. And then going from there to Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past for Super Nintendo, the way the series began to evolve quickly from one game to another makes it one that, if you're a fan of the series, and I know a lot of people who are, that's what keeps you interested. And yes, it had its detractors. A lot of people didn't like the fact, especially between this version of Zelda and Zelda 2, it went from being an overhead, kind of open world adventure like this to a side-scrolling open world adventure with a larger map and more things to find. It was not the most well-received game, although personally I thought it was pretty good. But, to imagine that as a 9, 10, 11-year-old kid, I would be playing a game that really set the mold for what would come over the next 4 to 5 generations to varying degrees, of open world capability for video games. That this tiny little game, and again, this is not, I'm not just talking in terms of map size, I mean in terms of programming size. This is not a big game. Nintendo Entertainment System games were not huge. You know, they had to fit on a very, very small board in a very, very small cartridge. So the computing power of the system wasn't great, and they had to be able to come up with a game that would draw people in. But this game was so popular that even my mother played this game, and she was not a video game person. This was a game that not only transcended genre, but also got non-traditional gamers interested in gaming. Like, this was a game that, and I'm not saying this to be sexist, but for a long time, video games, especially in the early 80s, were considered to be like a boys type of hobby. This game got girls into it because it was a game that was accessible, and that's the big thing. And that was one of the big things about the Nintendo Entertainment System was, for my generation, it didn't matter who you were. They gave you games that catered to everybody's tastes. And now, 35 years later, we're seeing the benefits of that and the detractions of it to a degree, but you can't deny that the open world genre, if it was ever created at all, would be much, much different were it not for this game. So, hope you've enjoyed the playthrough. If you have, as always, the best way to show it is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at Ronin's Retrocade. That's where we have all of our social media work going up as we speak. And help spread the word about us so we can get to our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as possible. And thank you to everybody who has already started subscribing to the channel. I'm seeing the numbers go up every day, and that is very encouraging for me as far as a content creator goes, and also gives me incentive and hope that the community I'm looking to build going forward will continue to grow and evolve, and I can help provide content that is of service and of interest to you. To that end, don't forget about Sports Saturday and Sucker Punch Sunday, which will be coming up next weekend, as well as we will be bringing back our one-day features, and we also have WTF Wednesday, which is our semi-annual feature that we do about games that in theory were good ideas, but in reality, probably not so much. And if there is a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, SNK neo-geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or look me up on Instagram and drop me a line. It can be any game from those systems that you want. And as always, my name is Ronin. It has been great enjoying this walkthrough with you. Have fun, be safe, be well, happy gaming, and I will talk to you soon with our next playthrough. Bye.